Do this interview?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. All right. We're here today on this 23rd day of March 2017. I'm conducting this interview with Mr. David Klein about Birdhaven, Virginia, and his experience there. So thank you for taking your time to do this interview with us.
You're more welcome. I forgot more than I probably remember. But I'm getting old and I had cancer and all that stuff, so. All right, go ahead.
My first question is, what is your tie to Birdhaven?
Well, my grandfather worked in the blacksmith shop. My mother worked in the finish department. And I would go down with my grandfather to turn the blower to keep the fire going. And it just, they had a post office there. And the post office, the mail carrier would come from Matthias, West Virginia every day, come across the old dirt road, and then he would go to Birdhaven post office, then he would go to the Basie post office. Well, I've lived here on this property. I was born here. My address changed 3 times and I never moved. It was Alum Springs, Shenandoah Alum Springs. They had a big hotel there, a 3-story hotel. And when that burnt, then they moved the post office to Birdhaven. Well, then I think in 1952 or 53, they closed the Birdhaven post office and moved it to Basie. So my address changed 3 times, I didn't move. And I was part owner of Birdhaven. In the 2010, from 2000 to 2010, about 12 years probably, and we were going to develop it, and then the economy got so bad that we couldn't sell lots and stuff, so we had to sell it.
Okay.
As far as, I never worked there. I know a lot of people that did, but most of the people who worked there passed away.
You said your grandfather worked in the blacksmithing shop.
Yeah.
A lot of the stuff was made out of wood. So what all would his job would have been there?
Well, he worked for other people. If they wanted some nails made, but back then they had cut nails. And he also made axe handles, hatchet handles. He made hammers. He made hatchets. Just anything. And a lot of the things in the shops down there was metal, and if something would break, well, then they'd have to make a new piece. And he done the stuff like that. And done, if someone wanted to come in and wanted some plowshares sharpened or made, he would do that.
And you said your mom worked in the toy shop?
She worked in the finishing department, but I cannot tell you much about it.
Okay. Do you have any memory of like being on the where their work was happening and like seeing what they were doing, or did you ever enter the shops? Or
Oh yeah, I used to enter the shops when I would go down we'd walk straight through the woods here. It's only about a half a mile. And we'd walk straight through the woods to get to where they worked, yeah.
Okay. When that was occurring, did you guys watch any of the work being done, or did you just like hang out?
Oh yeah, it's one little building there that 2 people worked in, 2 men worked in. That was real interesting. They always had a big pile of shavings between them, but they cut out the bowls. But they wouldn't do any finished work in that building. They just cut the rough out, rough bowls and the booms and stuff like that. And then it would go to another division where they finished them.
Okay. Did you, when you were a kid, did you play with any of the toys that were made there? Or?
Oh yeah, I don't have them. Wish I did. Yeah, I wish I did.
Okay. Well, what toys did you play with that were made there?
Oh, I don't know. Birds, bird houses, and stuff like that. You know, it's just been so long that I can't remember.
Okay. You have a lot of the pieces made at Birdhaven. Is there anyone that is your favorite, or?
It's my wife's favorites, all of them. She likes them all. Yeah, she likes them all. I wish I could have got more. There was a lot more there that was carried off, you know. But the cars bought it. Went I believe, what year did they buy, David, remember?
2014, 13.
13, they've had it more than 4 years.
I don't believe.
Yeah, they have too. Anyhow, they bought it, tore the house down, the old house, which was in good condition, but it wasn't good enough for them. So they tore that down, had $1 million house built. Then they tore the old post office down and put it back like it was. And they fixed up all the buildings just about. They haven't done anything to the blacksmith shop yet, but it's still there. They tore one building down. That's all they tore down. The rest of the buildings are still there. And they say they're going to remodel all the old homesteads there too. When it was just Birdhaven, it was 3 other pieces of property there that didn't belong to Birdhaven, but people lived there. The old houses are still there, the barn's still there. My uncle bought what was called the Neubarn place. Him and his son bought that, and they raised cattle. I used to milk cows in the barn there. And then after Mr. and Mrs. Clark sold it to Colonel Ham, why, let's see, how am I gonna get this now? I gotta think about this. Well, anyhow, my uncle bought the Neubarn place, in which his son lived there. And then, after Colonel Ham bought Birdhaven off the Clarks, my uncle sold the Neubarn place to Colonel Ham. Then it was another place on down through the woods from there that Theodore Barb lived, and he sold his to Colonel Ham. That's the way it got so much land to Birdhaven. Birdhaven wasn't that big.
Okay.
When it was running. But after they bought all these other 3 properties, well then that's what made the 700 some acres.
So you talked about how you purchased Birdhaven, or purchased some stock in Birdhaven.
Right.
Did you do that because of your tie to the area, or?
I did it because my wife couldn't talk me out of it. Oh, she was really against it. She told me I was going to lose, you know. But the company that she was working for is the one that owned it,
Okay.
which owned Chalet High timeshare. So it's the same man that owned the Mimsel Inn in Newberry for years, and he lost that too. So I just thought it was a way to make some money. I mean, if everything would have worked like we had it planned out, each one of us would have got our money back 4 or 5 times. But it wasn't handled right, and they wasted the money. So everyone lost but them, because we sold those lots. We sold 16 lots there and 8 lots across from the airport. We sold that 47 acres across the road for $300,000. And we lost, it all went someplace. But we never could figure out, I think they had 2 or 3 sets of books.
So, do you remember how old you were when Birdhaven closed?
I was born in 42, and I think it closed in about 55 or 56. It might have closed a little before that.
Okay.
But I think the post office moved in 52. So, and the reason they had the post office is they shipped a lot of packages from there.
Okay. Do you remember what it was like, the atmosphere was and what the mood was when it closed, like of all the workers that were there?
When it closed, it wasn't but a few people there.
Okay.
I would say it wasn't over probably a dozen people when it closed. Yeah. The business just went off and people wasn't buying wooden stuff then. They was buying metal stuff. So that's one reason they went out of business. No one to buy it.
And the Shenandoah's worker community seemed like it would have been a tight-knit community, especially like in such a small area. Was that true, or?
Now, what was the question?
So like the area is such a small area, and the Shenandoah's workers community seemed like it would have been like a lot of people close together. Is that how it was?
It just sounded, well, you read that, where did that? You read that, you can really, it tells you a lot in there how it was formed.
Okay.
Because it's been so long, I don't remember all of it.
So you spent your whole life in this other area other than?
Lived on this property all my life, except I was in the service 3 years. And when I first got married, we lived away from here about 3 years. Other than that, I've been living right here.
Okay. So, in the service, were you stationed somewhere? Like, where were you stationed?
I was stationed, I took my basic at Fort Jackson, Colorado. Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and then I went to Fort Carson, Colorado. And then I went from there to Germany for 2 years. Okay. I was in missiles. The Redstone missile, the missile that put the first man on the moon. They flew us from Frankfurt, Germany to White Sands, New Mexico to FARC. We were down there 6 weeks. We went back to Germany. They deactivated the Redstone, brought it back to the States, put it in mothballs and sent the Persian over. I helped fire the last time it was fired, the Redstone missile. Quite a scene.
Once you were done with your military service, was there anything that brought you back to this area, or?
No, I just was from here. I never. I came back and I worked at poultry plant for a while. Worked over at FMC in Front Royal for about 2 years. Then I went to Blue Ridge Trust, which is closed now out here, between Basie and Orkney. Worked there for 40 years. So that's the reason I'm in this area. I was production manager for 32 years at Blue Ridge.
What was the experience like working there?
Oh, we built roof trusses, floor trusses, wall panels. Built houses. We built 50 couple houses on Bryce Mountain when it first opened. My son worked for him for 17 years. 18. Had a lot of people. I remember one time it was as many as 200 people working there. Now it's closed. The gentleman that owned it, the boss started it, he was retired from the government. He was federal marshal. After he passed away, his wife, well, I won't go any further.
Okay. Does it give you like a sense of pride knowing that you like helped build a lot of the things around here? with the
I
houses?
help about all the houses around here. We furnished the roof trusses. Yeah, I built this house myself.
Okay.
Yeah. I built it in 76. I moved in 76. But then I built those 2 rooms. I forget, probably 15 years later, or maybe a little longer. But I've done most of it myself.
Do you know how many houses in this area you've helped build, or?
I don't know. I don't know. I know for probably between 15 and 20 years before Mr. Pastor passed away, we was shipping over $1.5 million a month in product. So just about every house around here, he started that business in 60. I think in the same year that Brass Mountain started, it was 65 or 66.
Okay. Teddy told us a story about how some of the boys would go and to where they would store toys where in a building that were when they hadn't sold them. Do you remember those buildings being on the property?
Yep. They're not there anymore. No. If they'd have, if they'd make more than they would sell. There's one great big building, a 3-story building that's been remodeled and everything. You ought to ride down there on your way. I don't know, the gate probably be closed. I think they leave about 4.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's, if you do go down, when you get to where the house and things is, you can see the house over to the left. You're going around to the right, and the office is 2-story building on the right. And what's his name? Chris somewhere. Chris is his first name. He's the manager.
Okay.
Yeah. You see, they use my property. I've got a road all the way down through here. That's on me. They use that. And back when Colonel Ham bought the Noy Bar place, he bought a right away between me and this other subdivision. So it's a Bird Haven has got a right of way up through there. But I told him instead of cutting them trees and stuff, just use my road, because there's enough dust down one dirt road instead of having 2 dirt roads right there. I gotta wipe my eyes. Since I took those treatments, my eyes water all the time. And the treatment done something to my heart. I don't know what yet. I reckon they fix one thing and mess something else up.
So on the property, I know there was a lot of woodworking. Do you remember anything else about the property, like what the surroundings were like, since it was like a bird sanctuary?
No, Teddy's daddy used to tap the sugar trees, some of them on the property, back years ago, and cook it down and make maple syrup. My uncle farmed what was known as Noy Bar Place when he owned it. As a matter of fact, his grandson was disking the field down there with a tractor one time, and he made a turn. The tractor come on back on top of the disc, but he didn't get hurt at all. The disc kept him from getting hurt. Front end of the tractor come back and hit the disc. It was one of those pickup discs, and he didn't get hurt at all. But yeah, I used to milk cows down there in that barn. That was before it was Bird Haven.
Okay. So you milked cows. Were there any other animals on the farm?
They raised cattle. Now the cars raised a lot of hogs when they first bought it. Hogs, chickens, ducks, sheep, but they don't have anything now.
Okay. Did you work with any of the other animals other than the cows?
Chickens. Teddy's daddy was a chicken farmer. He poor lot of people that owned the hotel in Orkney built 9 chicken houses. Teddy's daddy was the overseer. I knew he told you that, didn't he? No. Yeah, he was the overseer, and I was living in that old house. Me and Teddy would ride him up every morning. And in the wintertime, it would be frost on the windshield. He'd take his hand, put on the windshield, and get one spot that he could see through. And that's what it looked like when he picked me up out here. Never would clean the frost off of it, just take his hand, have one spot on the windshield you could see through. Run out of gas one time, he said, "I can't be out of gas, I just put a gallon in here 3 days ago." Went back in, a gallon of gas, and them old vehicles went a long ways. But his daddy was something. He had his hip replaced, and he couldn't hardly walk, but he could really get upset awful quick, and we could make him upset awful quick. I guess there's someone gonna talk to Teddy's brother, Curtis.
Not sure about that. We were just given one person each, and we were told.
Yeah, someone talked to Richard. It's an old lady down Jerome. I don't know, Betty Funkhauser, Mike's mother. I don't know if she ever worked at Price's or not. She's about 83 or 84. But I can't remember if she worked down at Birdhaven or not when it was going.
Okay.
But just about everyone around here that worked there are gone. I don't know of anyone that worked there is still living.
Okay. Do you remember playing on the site at all? Because Teddy had mentioned that I believe he said you and some of the other boys would take boats and put them in the creeks and rivers.
Oh, them little wooden boats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then we had right out in the old big house, we had a swimming hole, but there, it was pretty deep. It was probably 5 feet deep, where we'd go swimming in the summertime. And yeah, we played in the creek with them wooden boats, toys. I tell you, it's been so long ago, I forget.
So you said that there were only 12 people working by the time
I don't really know if it was that many.
Okay. Do you remember when the production started to decline there, and why, other than a lack of demand?
I swear, it must have been in the 40s.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't know exactly when it started. I think it was in the 20s. It might have been in the teens. And I don't know if that paper says or not. I don't believe it does. I don't see any dates on here except this 1930 up here.
Okay.
It says they had as many as 40 varieties of birds down there. I don't see anything where it says how long it was there or when it was started.
Okay. You mentioned your wife was interested in collecting these. How big is y'all's collection from the Birdhaven?
That's about it. That's about it, because you never seen it for sale. And I guess piece of wood, people just threw it away.
Mm-hmm.
Now, back right after the Cars bought it, they had a sale in Edinburgh. There was a bunch of stuff there for sale from Birdhaven. But they run everything up so high that I couldn't afford to buy it. They're billionaires.
I know a lot of these pieces are collectible. Is there any pieces that you like remember being made that you would like to see at some point?
I got one bowl out here my wife really likes. Let me go get it. I think she likes that as well as she does any others.
Okay. That is an interesting looking bowl.
Yeah, and I think it's made out of one piece of wood. They use a lot of bandsaw blades.
Probably
It must be a white oak, I guess. I wouldn't have any clue. But they used a lot of walnut. It's some walnut trees down there. They were this big around when I was a kid. I used to pick up walnuts under them. You can imagine what they are now.
Mm-hmm.
Right in front of where the old house was. Yeah, I used to go down there and pick up the walnuts every summer. Of course, back then it wasn't, you almost had to give them away because there's so many walnut trees around. Now you can't hardly find any walnut trees. And that's it's a butternut walnut tree down there. It's the only one I know of around here. It's instead of a round walnut, it's round and it's about this long. It gets about that big around.
Okay.
It's called a butternut walnut. But here's a time card, Francis Barb. There she worked 5, 8, 9, 10, 19, 20 hours, $1.25. There's one. This one got $2.50 for 25 hours. No, 10 hours. It's just I just found this stuff laying around on the floor down there. This one, Night Watch, Lord Deborah, 11 hours, $2.75. Gilbert Barb, that was Richard, the man that those two ladies talked to Sunday. He was, Gilbert was his uncle. And let's see, this is Irene Anderson. I don't know who she is. And here's some of the stuff out of the post office. This is another Irene Anderson. 5 hours. You don't see how much she got. Oh, there it is, 63 cents. And so it's really, it's interesting to just walk around and pick. Most of this stuff came out of the old post office. Here's some of those pictures, some of the cards they sent out to people. $1 cent postcard. But these here, like this man here, he sent this card back and it says, "Dear Bernie," which is Mr. Clark's, everyone called him Bernie.
Okay.
Polly and I have been going over our needs here and are wondering if you could send us samples of the mahogany, black walnut, and your low post bed, finished as usual. Also on the chest of drawers, could you substitute a smaller over hardware and call you made, I don't know, I can't hardly read part of it. But these cards here, like this one sent it back. We are ordering for the salad set. Please send some of these wooden pieces 208, 207, 209. People are asking for them, thinking of you. And this, they must have had a store in East Albright, New Jersey.
Okay.
And they was ordering this wooden stuff to sell in their store. And here's one that says, "Gentlemen, please advise us when you will ship our last order." This is 38. That's just interesting stuff. And let's see. There's one of their sales papers.
When you were walking through Brookhaven, is there any particular reason you picked all this stuff up other than?
Just about every day I'd go down, you know, I'd just see something laying, I'd pick it up. That was after I had spent all that money. Nothing. There's must be a picnic bench, I guess, there. I would just see if I'd see something laying, I'd pick it up, and I wish I'd picked more up.
How often do you go through these things and just look at them and reflect?
I looked at them a couple weeks ago, but I have some phone books from 1952, but I don't know where I put them. I put them someplace and I don't know where they're at. I'll have to look for them one day. But let's see. I want to show you this. This is 1916. This is the price list for 1923 for copper tubing.
And this was found at Brookhaven?
Yeah. Yeah, everything laying here was found at Birdhaven. Yeah, it's this. There you go. You wouldn't see that mailed in through the mail today, would you?
You would not.
With Putin's picture on it? Let's see. That's right. Oh, I found this. I guess they had Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Look at the prices in that. I couldn't find no date on it.
It's a lot cheaper than it is now.
Holy smokes. It's like in 1958, I was in the hospital 29 days with pneumonia. And my bill, hospital bill and doctor bill was $600. 29 days. Now it'd be $600 for a half a day. Or more. Because my cancer treatments was $15,000 a piece. Yeah. It's unreal. Let's see if I got anything else I want to show you. You want it? You want read that?
Oh.
Or you want? I wish I had another copy of it. I'd let you have it, but that's the only copy I've got.
So you said your property butts up to the woods, or you could walk through the woods to get to the
Birdhaven.
To Birdhaven.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Right down here. It used to be a path down through there that they made a road out of it now.
Okay.
They came out down right down at Birdhaven.
So I can imagine like especially since it's such like everything's so close, that the trees were a lot similar. Than they were on the actual Birdhaven property.
Well, they didn't cut all of it on Birdhaven because it wouldn't have been enough property to cut all this. They had to have some of this maple and black walnut. They must have bought some of that someplace else.
Okay. Do you know where they bought it?
No, I don't.
Okay.
It's like I say, I was born 42 and it probably closed in 50. I think 55. So I wouldn't have been very old. And
Mm-hmm. Did your mom or your grandfather work there while you were alive, or was it before?
yeah,
Okay.
I used to turn the blower from my grandfather down in the blacksmith shop. Yeah. And I remember he all made axe handles and hammer handles and hatchet handles with a drawer knife.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did he teach you any of those skills while you were there, or?
No, that's something you know. We're talking in the 40s and 50s. In the 60s, everything was. No one bought stuff like that.
Mhm.
You went to the store and bought it. Back in the 40s and 30s, you had someone to make it for you for maybe 25 cents. But I know he always sat out on the porch and made those handles out of hickory. He'd cut the trees in the woods and let it dry, and then he would make the handles. That was something else a while ago. Now I can't think of what I want to say.
There's a lot of history in this area. Other than Birdhaven, what were some of the other like major like manufacturing jobs that you know of?
Well, they had the old iron furnaces where they got the or out of the ground. It's right out here at Down Springs. About you
passed
maybe
it.
saw it when you come by. Yeah. Well, the old furnace is there, and then to the left of it, as you're looking at it, it's more stone to come out here, but it's not as high as the furnace. Well, that used to be Teddy's daddy had a beer joint there, and he sold some bread, and he sold some bread, eggs, and stuff like that. But he had the beer joint downstairs, and he raised chickens upstairs. Couldn't do that today. Yeah, I can remember an old man used to come in there and sit down, and Elmer would pour him a beer, and then he'd break an egg in it for him. Beer and egg. Yeah. Elmer used to suck them eggs, Teddy's daddy. He'd just punch a hole in the end of it, suck the egg out of it. We found a nest down here. He lived down the road here a little ways from me. Found a chicken nest, had 9 eggs in it. Elmer sucked 3 or 4 of them. And we took the rest of the house, and all the rest of them was rotten. So he was probably sucking rotten egg. Now, if you've ever smelled a rotten egg, I don't know how you could stand it. But him and I used to make some white lightning. And we'd tap these sugar trees, and we'd cook it down, and we'd use that instead of water. You got more white lightning out of it. And if you want to make brandy, you don't put sugar in it. And if you got a 50-gallon barrel of mash with no sugar in it, just apples, corn, whatever you want to put in it, you only got about 3.5 gallons out of it, maybe 3 gallons. Well, if you put 100 pounds of sugar in it, you got 13 gallons out of it. 10 pounds of sugar make a gallon of white lightning. Oh, I used to do a little stuff. Where's this going? Just to class?
Going to the Shenandoah Library.
Oh,
Shenandoah Library.
in Edinburgh?
Yes.
Shenandoah County Library.
Who you know works down there?
We don't know. We don't have contact with them. We have it through our professor,
Oh,
who's been talking to them.
okay. I know. What's his name? What's your professor's name?
Dr. Friss. Evan Friss.
It's someone that works at the library. I know. It's a Dormouse. I saw him down in Birdhaven. I mean, it don't make any difference. That's in the past. But Elmer and I used to do that, and it's a wonder we didn't get blowed up, because Elmer had laying chickens, and this man on Bryce Mountain, the one that invented the seatbelt, come back and talked to Elmer about he'd taken that chicken litter and making methane gas out of it. Well, we dug a hole in the ground, put a roof over it, and we set this chicken litter in 55-gallon barrels down in this pit, and that chicken litter would make methane gas, which you can't see it, smell it, or nothing. And we would use that to cook our white lightning with. Yeah. I don't know. I can't think of that man's name, but he invented the seatbelt. His wife, I think, still lives on Bryce Mountain. He passed away. But I can't think of his name.
Huh.
Yeah, I had an interesting life.
And you said your wife was the one that mainly wanted to collect these things?
Well, I just got it. But all this stuff here, 95% of it, This, I bought this at a sale. But
Okay.
the rest of the stuff I got at Birdhaven.
Okay. Is your wife from this area too? Is that why?
Yeah, she's from Jerome, which is about 5 miles on down the road.
Okay.
Yeah, she's working now. Gotta keep her working. No, it's most of this came right from Birdhaven.
Okay. So it was just leftovers that were never sold?
That was in it was in, all this came out of the building, the shipping building.
Okay.
Yeah. And lucky that I even got it because people were going in and taking stuff, you know. There wasn't no locks on the doors. And just lucky to get it. Trying to think of some other stuff, but I don't know.
You're at 45.
Uh, when you purchased bought stake into the property, how many of the original buildings were there?
Oh, everything was there.
Everything was-
Everything was there, but it was ready to. A lot of the buildings were ready to fall down. Maybe my son will get it. And what you asked me something, didn't you? What was it?
I don't remember. The people you grew up with on around Birdhaven, do you still communicate with them and everything? And do you all ever talk about Birdhaven and what it was like?
Mr. Alexander, the one that bought it, he's passed away. So I talked to some of the other people that bought in. Yeah.
Okay. What about the kids you grew up with on Birdhaven, like Teddy and all them?
Oh yeah, I see them all the time. Yeah.
And do y'all ever like reminisce about Birdhaven?
Oftentimes, you know, Teddy, he don't like to talk like his daddy. And I don't like to talk much either. Really, it wasn't, I mean, Teddy didn't go down to Birdhaven that I remember much, but I don't know if he didn't have anyone working down there. I mean, close. And like I say, my mother named oldest brother, he's passed away now. Mr. Clark, that was Bernard was his middle name, so my mother named my brother Leroy Bernard. And I think, I'm not too sure, but I think my mother might have worked in their house a lot of times instead of working in the factory.
Okay.
Well as I can, I just can't remember. And they had a man that lived with them, a boy, which he's passed away now, but he was a lawyer, and he lived there with them. And I can't, I just can't remember too much about it.
Okay, that's fine. I think that's a good stopping point. I want to thank you for giving us your time.
Well, you're more than welcome. I wish if I could have just remembered some more stuff, but I should have, every time I thought of something, I should have wrote it down.
It's fine.
That's, I appreciate you coming by,
Yeah.
and I wish I could have helped you more. But
you're-
maybe this will be we can get all this stuff together.
Yeah, that's the part of it is